Over 1,000 horsepower and over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. Let's see what this thing can do. Oh, that's quick. 2.79, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. My God. And 1.17 G. This thing is absolutely nuts. Okay, so I don't even know where to start this video right now. I guess I'll start off with the disclaimer. So just a heads up, this 2026 Rivian R1S Quad motor was given to me by Rivian for test purposes of a test drive, not for review purposes. So they have no idea I'm doing a review on this. This car wasn't specially set up for reviews. I'm not getting any kind of monetary value. They're not even going to get to see this before I publish it, if I decide to publish this video in the end. Overall, over the last couple of days, I haven't really had a lot of time to get any kind of good video quality, so just be aware. Some of the video quality is going to look very, very bad and kind of hodgepodge together. I was taking video as I got a chance to do so. It was a very crazy weekend, the same time I was able to get this vehicle given to me for the long-term test drive. To start off with though, I absolutely love this car, and I can just go on and on about it. But one of the cool things is, which I'll kind of start off with after I've just shown you the launch, is yes, it is 1,000 horsepower, 1,000 foot-pounds of torque, 0 to 60 in around 2.6 seconds, 2.5. I've gone it down to 2.77. And I have no doubt in my mind that it could easily hit the numbers that Rivian's saying, you know, the 2.6 to 2.5 and a standing quarter in around 10 seconds. Now, to give an idea of just how insane that is the same basically specs as the original Bugatti Veyron. So you're basically driving what 15, 16 years ago was a hypercar, and now you can buy it inside of an SUV. And yeah, I'm floored by it. Now, one of the cool things is, which I'll kind of do a video, I'm going to cut to this in a second here, is the quad motor actually gives you the ability to do some like tank steer things. So it actually has something called sidekick, and I'm just going to cut the video here and kind of just go over to that video right now. So one of the really cool things about having quad motors is because each wheel has individual motor sets, it means that not only are you going to be able to have incredible acceleration along with torque vectoring in corners, but actually off-road, you're going to have some really cool abilities here. For example, like sidekick. Put the vehicle into the all-terrain mode, you're going to have these pop-ups here saying which way you want to turn. All you then need to do is basically, you come to the end of a road, and you can just simply click on both sides here, give it some gas, and the car will actually begin to spin in place. And you can just keep on going. It is a really, really cool feature. It's probably one of the best party tricks this vehicle has, and the ability for it to just simply stand there and spin on a dime, and it'll just keep on spinning until you tell it to stop. It'll also spin in both directions, and the best part is this isn't something you have to kind of stop and wait for the system to engage. It can basically be used almost immediately. So for example here, if I want to go the other way, all I have to do is come to a complete stop, push on here, give it some gas, and we're now facing the other direction. It is a really, really cool party trick. And when it comes to off-roading, it's also super handy to do. There's nothing saying you can't actually do this either when it comes to being on dry pavement, but with the amount of kind of torque and vectoring you're doing on the wheels, the amount of abuse you're going to put on them, I would only recommend doing this either in the snowy conditions or obviously here on some dirt roads. But yeah, again, as long as this is engaged here, all I have to do is simply come up here, click on the icon down here, engage the kickstart. I'll get a pop-up on the screen when it's ready to go here. I can simply just come along, come to kind of a rolling stop. Oops, sorry, give it both directions, turn the car on the spot, and then just keep on going. I love that feature so much. Yeah, so it's really, I don't know if you guys can see in the video, basically you hold down these two paddles on the left side or the right side, depending which way you want to steer. You hold them down, you hit the gas, and the car will basically spin in place. And it will just keep spinning until you essentially stop or the tires explode. So it's one of the really cool kind of party tricks. Like I said, I've shown it to everybody who's gotten a chance to drive in the vehicle, and it's just awesome. And legitimately actually does have a purpose outside of being a gimmick for going off-road. In fact, I was actually driving down a side road with my mom, and I ended up actually reaching a dead end. And instead of reversing out and trying to find a way, I just engaged it, spun the car around with her, didn't tell her that part, and she loved it. Now, in terms of the charging of this vehicle, I'm going to kind of also cut to the video now here and let kind of the explanation go of how the charging works. But essentially, just to summarize before I do that, Tesla V3 and V4 only available right now here in Canada. I'm actually heading there right now to charge it up before I return the vehicle. And there are some oddities with parking and stuff like that. I'll touch on that in the video here, so I'll just cut over to that. Sorry again, kind of a last minute video I took, so just kind of get your idea of what's going on there. For the 2026 model year, Rivian has added on to both the R1S and R1T, and I'm assuming also the R2 at this point, the NACS charging system and standard. So what that means is you're able to simply just walk up to a Tesla charger and actually grab it and go. Use the exact same plug as all Teslas have since their start. Makes it really simple and easy to access a variety of charging networks, including Teslas as a whole. Only limitation is, at least here in North America, Canada especially, you're only able to charge at V3 and V4 locations. And as a byproduct of that, it also means that you're limited to only a handful of locations here in the Greater Toronto Area, at least at the time of testing. And because of the way the charger is set up, Tesla's charge on the back side, Rivian's on the front left. So what that means is that you actually have to take up 2 parking spots to properly charge here. Now, Tesla has been rolling out newer chargers with much longer cables, so you should be able to stay in your own booth, but at least at this time, that's not the case. Outside of that though, charging speeds are up to a maximum of 300 kilowatt hours. And if you look on the screen here, it does actually integrate directly in with the Tesla charging system. So I can actually click on charging networks and see exactly how many are available, what its top speed is, stuff like that. And I can even go into details and it gives me a price breakdown of how much it costs to actually charge there. Only problem I have though, is that it's also showing a lot of the chargers that it's not available to utilize at this time. So as an example, this must be a V1 or V2 charger. And it even shows you how many are available, but it says incompatible. At this time, it's not a hardware limitation, it's more of a software limitation. They just simply don't allow Rivian to charge there. Hopefully in the future though, Tesla will open up more and more of their network to more and more Rivian vehicles, or we'll be replacing the older units with newer units which will accept these vehicles in the future. But overall, like I said, charging speeds on this have been great. I haven't had any issues with finding chargers or compatibility. And also, these Tesla chargers will actually directly invoice to the car, meaning you don't need to have a special app to actually run it. It will actually be charged through the Rivian app to the car itself. So it just means less apps, less confusion, far easier to utilize as a whole when it comes to charging these units. So charging the Rivian has actually been pretty good. The included charger is also a NACS in the 2026 model. So I just plugged it into my house and plugged it into the car and it just charged perfectly. You also can set up different time frames, so you can have it set to charge only during low peak or whatever, it's ultra low charging time for costs, at least here in Ontario, which is handy because you just come home, plug it in, it won't charge until some odd time at nighttime, let's say like around 7 o'clock, where it actually starts to charge to kind of save you some money. I'm also going to do a quick little walk around here of the outside of the vehicle now in the next cut, and then we'll come back to my final thoughts. So sorry again on the next cut, it's a little janky. I literally was between meetings and between events, and I just stopped on a side road in the middle of nowhere, and I just quickly grabbed the video of me doing a quick walk around of the vehicle itself. Quick little walk around of the vehicle before I get inside and do some driving. I love the way this car looks. A little controversial. I've had people say it's downright ugly. You know, it's up to their opinion, and their opinion is wrong. Overall though, I do love the way this looks, especially in this stormy blue color. I personally like the much brighter Rivian blue, which I'll put up on the screen here. That's my favorite color for these, but this stormy blue is an absolute great color overall. On the quad motor here, you're going to get the teal brake calipers alongside a teal outline here on the Rivian logo. I do believe all Rivians with the teal accents are coming as a blackout package only with the quad motor. Again, back here you can see the same. These are also coming standard now with 305s in the rear, Michelin Pilot Sports, and then at the front here we're getting the 275s. Now, one thing I do like though is although Rivian has outfitted this with 1,000 horsepower and a beefed up brake kit, I believe, these tire packages are swappable across their entire lineup. So you're able to actually still put on the off-road tires even on this quad motor. So you're not taking away from the off-road capabilities of the vehicle itself. On the back side here, you are getting a split rear tailgate. You also notice here on the quad motor option, you're going to get the Gearman Gary over here. So a little tiny Sasquatch icon for Gary. And then also you'll notice over here, we have the R1S with the quad logo right there in the middle. Third row space in here is actually pretty good. There's storage under here as well. This can easily fit a baby stroller and everything you possibly need for the weekend. The third row also does get a sunroof on its own. You get little storage cubbies back here for the third row, which is great. And over here you have your power accessory, so a 1500 watt house outlet and a 12 volt outlet here, able to 180 watts of power. And underneath here is an option, but is the built-in air compressor. And I've actually used this to save a friend of mine who had a flat tire at work, so this is actually pretty handy to have overall. With that being said though, there is a couple things in the interior that are a little weird. I'll kind of show you here. The pop-out door handles are good, but sometimes when you're trying to unlock the car, they won't pop out every single time. Again, I have this as a demo loaner model for the weekend, so I'm pretty sure if I had hooked up to my phone, it would be fine. Second row is absolutely massive. Even with someone who's over 6 foot in the front seat, I still have plenty of room here for the car seat to be installed just fine. And I love this interior. The design, the leather, the quality, the fit and finish is fantastic. It does feel like it's gonna last a really, really long time, and that's exactly what you want, especially with something this expensive. You also get a flat floor here too, which means you can actually put stuff right across here. The only issue I have though with the back door here is because of these massive gaskets and the car is so sealed up tightly, if you actually close the door and you go and give it a good slam, it actually doesn't shut. You need to actually give this thing a pretty good to close it up. More often than not, I'm actually getting out to open and reclose doors on my own. Getting inside here, the interior is again just great. One thing I really like about the Rivian is, although I'm not a big fan of screens, these two are actually pretty good. You get physical buttons here to make changes to things like your volume, your speed, change songs, stuff like that, and they do adjust depending on what screen you're actually on. But when it comes to the main screen, you're going to get here navigation or the autonomous view. On the left side, you'll also be able to get your infotainment system alongside any kind of critical vehicle information. The center console here, though, gives you a ton of options, and I actually do like this one a bit more than Tesla's design. I believe they use Unreal Engine for all the animations here, and it really does show. You have everything from your suspension options, so I can actually raise and lower the vehicle as needed with these cool little animations showing you what it's exactly doing. You have the different ride feels you have as an option too. You can set it to auto mode, your regen settings, depending on how much regen you actually want at the wheel level. You can turn off regen, but only in the off-road mode. And of course, you can adjust things directly, like your stability control, Over here, you're also gonna have the off-road tab, go off-road, where it's gonna give you some extra options, including a couple that are specific because of the capabilities here of the quad motor itself. So you're gonna have things like your rally, your drift, your soft sand, your rock, and so on, which is actually gonna make some adjustments to the vehicle in terms of making it more capable and taking away some of those restrictions. You'll also notice up here, you're gonna get the option for the rad screen, where you're gonna be able then to modify things as you see fit, so you can actually customize each individual driving mode to your own liking. And you're also, if you go back here to off-road mode for a second, turn off stability control as an example here, you're also able then to bring up your gauges. And these gauges are going to tell you everything from your vehicle positions, your pitch and roll, your tires, your individual motor temperatures, your external temperature, and you even get rad tuning, which allows you to go into every single little thing for this car. And this is specific to the quad motor, at least at this time. Meaning that you can change things from your acceleration, your regen, your braking, your actual roll bar stiffnesses, everything is in here. So you can really adapt the car to exactly how you want to see fit. Honestly, this is probably one of the most impressive tunable screens I've seen in any EV, let alone any car. You also can customize these directly and then save your preferences as you see fit. Okay, so yeah, terrible interior review, sorry about that. But a couple things I wanted to kind of highlight from there is gonna be the fit and finish of this vehicle is fantastic. No squeaks, no rattles. Everything in here feels high quality in a really, really good way. Everything feels like if it looks like wood, it's wood. If it looks like leather, it's leather. And what I really like about that is everything feels very, very durable. So if, for example, I could definitely see this thing lasting a long time. Getting in and out of this car, I wasn't afraid of tearing anything. I wasn't afraid of grabbing onto things to get a grip on stuff. It felt really, really good. And it really made me confident to kind of take this thing off-road and see what it can do. With that being said, though, there is a couple things, like I noted with the vehicle, that are a bit annoying. The car sometimes doesn't want to unlock, but I think it has to do more with the fact that it's in like a demo mode. It'll kind of pop up here on the screen. I'm always fighting with the key. The key is just like this little card thing, and it doesn't always want to work. That's one, but I think, again, because the car is in a bit of a demo test drive mode, it just doesn't let me do that easily. The next thing is going to be the rear door. This car does not have soft closed doors, so because of that, you're kind of slamming doors to get them to shut. I think soft closing would be a great feature, or at least do something with the baffles in the in the body here to let some more air out when you shut the door. Last but not least is going to be this charger down here. The charger itself works, but 50-50, it doesn't want to charge. And I think it's a slow charger because I'll put my phone on there and it's always just saying slow charging. So just something to be aware of there. Outside of that, though, I really don't have any other complaints. I mean, it's just a cool car. It's a really, really cool car. I love the fact it's got the flashlight in the door. I love that it says over there, adventurous forever. I love the whole, like theming they do with the vehicle here of making it an off-road vehicle. And it really does feel like it as a whole. 100%, I'm sold on this vehicle. I would pick it up tomorrow. The only thing that's stopping right now is the price. So because of Canadian tariffs, in the States, this vehicle is about $125,000-ish dollars, converted over about 160 Canadian. So again, really expensive car for the quad motor, but for the performance, it's a hell of a deal. With that being said though, because of the current tariffs here in Canada of 25% on all imported American vehicles, that's not America putting tariffs on it, that's the Canadian government putting tariffs on American vehicles. That means this thing now costs $200,000 plus just to start. And that is incredibly expensive. And it's not just me kind of giving that opinion. A lot of even the guys talking to the dealership who have been really helpful, even they're kind of alluding to that the quad motors and the upper trim levels, people are just not buying them right now. There are people buying them, of course, but not nearly as much as they would be in the States because it's just so expensive up here to get your hands on one. And then you got to go insure it. And then, there's no more EV rebates up here, at least in the meantime. So you're just stuck buying effectively almost a $250,000 car. Throw in taxes and insurance on that and some final destination stuff, and yeah, you're pushing $220,000 easily on this car. Outside of that, though, I mean, it's still a bargain when you think about it. You're gonna have to go buy a $500,000 Lamborghini or $500,000 Ferrari to keep up with this thing if you really thought about it as a drag car. But outside of that, I love this thing. Like I said, the only thing is going to be the price point and some other things that I will kind of touch on, I guess, at the end here. Driving dynamics wise, it is so much fun to drive. It's a back road carver. I love it. But with these tires on, it makes the ride very, very bouncy. And it's kind of funny because when you're kind of going along and you're not really hitting bumps per se, but there's definitely that feeling you do get where if the car is set to firm, it becomes almost undrivable. It actually makes my wife car sick driving with it because it's just so hard and bouncy. This is more designed, I believe, for when you're on the highway, but it is something that you definitely are going to want to kind of keep an eye on if you're starting to feel a little off. I prefer soft to moderate. I don't even bother putting it into firm. And yeah, that's kind of really about it.